One song, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's all it took to flip childhood fantasies into a swirling, surreal, psychedelic manifesto. But was it just a song about getting high? Or was it something far more dangerous? In 1967, a haunting voice echoed from radios across America. One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small.
Has given you a call.
And just like that, White Rabbit stormed through the summer of love, not with flowers and peace signs, but with riddles, rebellion, and a whisper that the world might not be what it seemed. Was it a warning, a call to arms, or just a musical hallucination dressed as a nursery rhyme? You're about to find out. This is Behind the Hit. If you love digging into the untold stories behind the most iconic songs ever made, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss a single secret. Now, follow the White Rabbit. We all knew Alice, the curious girl with a head full of wonder. But in White Rabbit, she wasn't just wandering through Wonderland. She was being used to symbolize something much bigger, something pharmaceutical. Jefferson Airplane's lead singer, Grace Slick, confirmed it herself. I used Alice to talk about drugs, psychedelics specifically, LSD, shrooms, marijuana, things that opened your mind instead of shutting it down. From the very first line, White Rabbit offers pills like candy from a stranger.
One pill makes you larger and one makes you...
But these weren't the pills in your mom's medicine cabinet. And the ones that mother gives you don't do anything at all. Suddenly, listeners were dropped into a world where logic was slippery, where caterpillars gave you calls, and where mushrooms could literally change your size. But here's the deeper question. Was Grace really just talking about a drug trip, or was she mapping the very blueprint of the counterculture movement? It's 1967. The Vietnam War is raging. Draft cards are burning. Young people are tuning out of mainstream society and turning on to something else entirely. In the heart of San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury district, a wave of new thinking had arrived. No more blind obedience, no more conformity, no more filtered reality, and White Rabbit became its unspoken anthem. According to a verified report from the Library of Congress, over 100,000 young people descended on San Francisco that summer. Many of them arrived with two things in mind: freedom and expansion. White Rabbit played like a soundtrack to their awakening. Its rhythm was a march, a hypnotic build that mimicked the rise of consciousness itself. But what was it marching toward? Go ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall. It wasn't just whimsical nonsense. According to Slick, the song warned of what happens when you open your mind too far, too fast. The lyrics mimic the arc of a trip, starting with curiosity, peaking with absurdity, and ending in total disconnection. When logic and proportion have fallen sloppy dead. This line wasn't poetic exaggeration. It was a direct reference to the psychological side effects of hallucinogens documented by researchers in the 1960s, including depersonalization, delusions, and even schizophrenia in extreme cases. So the question lingers, was White Rabbit an invitation or a warning label? But maybe the trippiest part of all is this. Grace Slick wasn't the first to suggest these messages. According to her, the blueprint was already printed in books we read as kids. They read us these drug stories all our lives. Alice in Wonderland, Opium Mushroom, Peter Pan, White Powder Makes You Fly, Wizard of Oz. They pass out in a poppy field. This wasn't a conspiracy theory. Grace brought it to the surface in interviews with Q Magazine and later The Guardian. She wasn't just criticizing the stories, she was exposing the contradiction. Why demonize drugs when you raised us on fantasy books soaked in chemical allegory? So when she wrote White Rabbit, she wasn't just echoing Lewis Carroll, she was challenging parents, teachers, lawmakers. You told us not to take drugs, then fed us Wonderland on a silver spoon. Here's where things take a darker turn. There's a long-standing theory, still debated today, that White Rabbit is also a veiled protest song about the Vietnam War. The evidence? It's all in the lyrics. The men on the chessboard, possible reference to military generals, tell you where to go, command structure, call Alice when she was just small, a nod to the draft targeting young adults. This interpretation was never confirmed by Grace Slick, though she did call the song a little dark and hinted it was about people who rule us in a cryptic interview. Still, when you line up the metaphors with the social context of 1967, the theory gains weight. And maybe, like the best protest songs of that era, its message was left open, meant to slip past censors and slip into your subconscious. Musically, White Rabbit is as hypnotic as its lyrics. Grace Slick wrote it on a broken upright piano, missing nearly 10 keys. But that didn't matter. "I could hear the notes that weren't there," she said in a 2020 interview. The structure of the song was modeled after Ravel's Bolero, a classical piece known for its slow, relentless build. "It's like how an orgasm is built," she once said. One instrument after another enters, stacking tension, until finally, everything explodes in one final burst, like the end of a trip or the moment of realization. White Rabbit has been featured in over a dozen films and TV shows, including Platoon, The Sopranos, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Each time, it signals something important. You're about to cross a line, from reality to madness, from innocence to insight, from Wonderland to the truth. And that's the legacy of White Rabbit. It's not just a song, it's a trip you take with your ears. And once you've heard it, you can't go back. So now that you've followed the rabbit all the way down, what do you think? Was White Rabbit about drugs? Childhood contradictions? A hidden war protest? Let us know your theory in the comments below. We want to hear how you interpret the riddle. And if you want more deep dives like this into the secrets, scandals, and sonic revolutions behind the music you thought you knew, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell icon so you never miss a drop. This is Behind the Hit, and we're just getting started. Surprisingly, Grace Slick wrote White Rabbit while she was still in her first band, The Great Society. She brought the song with her when she joined Jefferson Airplane in 1966, and it became one of the first tracks she recorded with them. Even crazier? She composed it on a $50 red upright piano that was falling apart, missing at least 8 to 10 keys. "That was okay," Grace said later. "I could hear the missing notes in my head." White Rabbit has been featured in major films that depict mind-bending, chaotic, or morally gray settings. Notable appearances include Platoon, 1986, a haunting Vietnam War scene, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, a literal drug-fueled descent, The Sopranos, psychological unraveling at its finest. Every time the song plays, it's shorthand for "you're about to witness a breakdown of reality." Because of its blatant drug references and trippy delivery, many AM radio stations refused to play White Rabbit at first, but it eventually climbed the charts anyway, reaching number 1. 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the summer of 1967. It became one of the few songs at the time to explicitly mention mind-altering substances and still achieve mainstream success. Grace Slick revealed in interviews that she had been listening to Miles Davis's Sketches of Spain repeatedly while high on acid. That album, with its flamenco influence and melancholic horns, shaped the moody rhythm and tone of White Rabbit. "It stuck with me, that Spanish vibe. I loved it," she said. Yes, the song's final command, "Feed Your Head," has psychedelic overtones. But Grace has clarified that it was also a call for intellectual awakening. It meant read books, learn, pay attention, she said. Don't just float through life. The best trip, she implied, was the one that taught you something. If you've made it this far, you're not just a listener. You're an explorer. You followed the clues. You chased the rabbit. And now you know why this song is more than just a tune. It's a cultural time bomb wrapped in melody. Want more stories like this? The kind the radio never told you? Subscribe to Behind the Hit. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What does White Rabbit mean to you? We'll be back next week with another iconic song, another mystery, and another trip down the rabbit hole. Until then, feed your head.